I'm going live. Yeah, this program is tripping. You got any questions? Anything? Nah. Okay. No sweat. Yeah, no sweat. Let me see. I'm gonna try to get this. See, look, I feel like somebody. There we go. There we go. Hey, shalom, shabal. Lord Christ. So we're gonna get into what I'm gonna talk about historically. We're gonna go into Sumer, some of the first civilizations. We're going to talk about the Chaldees, where Abraham came from. This also will be good ammunition for people that say that the Bible ain't real, right? Let's see. Before I get into that, there's a story. If you could, Ak, if you could pull it up, there's a story. It's a very recent story. Two brothers, I believe they was in Mississippi. They was in the house and 6 police officers tortured them. Said they was messing with white women, tortured them, waterboarded them, put guns in their mouth, and shot one of them in the mouth. If you could find that story, it's a recent story. Yeah, I saw the movie. Yeah, nah, you ain't seen a movie to it. But it I think it just happened like about a week ago. I think the story just came out like a week ago. Yeah. Mississippi. I believe it was in Mississippi. Yeah. We can go over a little bit of oppression. Hey, shalom, Israel. Let's see. The news articles? Yeah, if you could. I think I found the video though. But if you could find the article, that would help too, to get some better context, because I'm gonna be pulling up a video with I forgot the name of this show this brother does, like a news reporter on different things, but I don't know if he's gonna go into it. Just give me a second. Let me find precepts. What else has been happening? Has been any other current events? You got the article? Okay. Oh, so lucky. We don't got the mic set up, so you're gonna have to speak. You're gonna have to speak loud. Oh, just give me a second. Hey, young man Avant, can you hear me? How do I sound? Go ahead and put a 1 if you can hear me okay. Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready when you. The water, so you can't hear me. Okay. I'm ready, Ramon.
Come, sir. This is torture in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
It says Rankin County Sheriff deputies tortured and subjected 2 black men to waterboarding techniques.
So they subjected two brothers to waterboarding techniques. These are techniques with when they get terrorists and they get them in the room, in the interrogation room, and they turn you upside down. They put a rag over your face and just pour water on your face, and they give you the feeling that you're about to drown. Right? That's what they was doing to these brothers. These deputies, 6 deputies. Go ahead.
Before shooting one of them in the mouth while he was in handcuffs.
Damn. And they shot one of them in the mouth. They had both these brothers handcuffed from what I remember. And they was just torturing these brothers. Keep reading, because I think it's going to say that what the reason why they busted in and what they were saying to these brothers.
Mm-hmm. Attorneys sloppy. Before shooting one of them in the mouth while he was in handcuffs, attorneys for the men alleged in a notice of claims they delivered to authorities Wednesday. The document alleged that 6 white sheriff deputies raided a private residence where Michael Eddie Parker stayed at on Connelly Road in Braxton, Mississippi. Without warning.
What is this called? Braxton, Mississippi?
Yeah, Braxton, Mississippi. Without warning or warrant, in what the Rankin County Sheriff later called a narcotics investigation.
So they came in without no warning or no warrant, but they called it or narcotics. That's what they always say. Yeah. They're looking for narcotics. They want to know if you're on probation or parole, right? They always have something, some reason, and that reason always pertains to you being stereotyped as a drug dealer, as somebody suspicious, right? Go ahead.
The FBI and the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations are investigating the incident. Mm-hmm. The Rankin County Sheriff's Office did not reply to the Mississippi Free Press request for comments following calls on Tuesday and Wednesday. Multiple suspects were taken into custody, and we contacted the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation to investigate the actions of our deputies.
Right. So you got to work. So you get treated like an animal. You get treated like you're not a citizen. You get treated like you don't matter. You get treated like a nigga. And then you got to go to the same people who treated you that way and hope that they can come with justice by investigating themselves, which we know that ain't gonna never work. Ain't nobody going to be found at fault. Ain't nobody going to be, put behind bars or given jail time, because how can you have the oppressor investigating the oppressor and something good comes out of it? It's never going to, like, you got the police investigate. You got go to any street gang in the world and ask them to investigate themselves for crimes. You think they're going to bring somebody to justice? You think they're going to bring somebody to the forefront and punish somebody? No. So the same way you look at criminals, well, that's how you should look at law enforcement. How are you going to ask a criminal to investigate themselves? How are you going to ask a criminal to look into the department to see if there's some wrongdoing or some foul play? 9 times out of 10, they're going to come back with they did everything right. They didn't break any laws. Is there any else on that?
Sir. It says Shabazz, who is the founder and national director of Black Lawyers for Justice, said that the deputies repeatedly punched, kicked, tased, and abused both men while they were in handcuffs.
See, this is the thing, man. You think that America is all sweet and nice, but we're at war. We're at war with another people. We're at war with ourselves. We're fighting demons amongst ourselves. And we're at war with another people, another nation, according to the Bible. This is another nation. You hear a lot of times where Black people blame themselves for what happens to us. So like with this situation, or with a situation with a brother getting killed by the police, you say, well, yeah, that's messed up. But, if we would treat each other better, then maybe other people would treat us better. When in reality, you never hear about the white on white crime. You never hear about, the crime of these other nations that they do to one another. It's only when it's us that is brought up in the forefront, as though That is a prerequisite. Like, we got to fix that before we could be upset at another race of people killing us and doing us wrong.
Right.
Go ahead.
Khan says, while in handcuffs, racial slurs were used by these 6 officers, calling them the Nigger
right
at different points.
So these police officers was calling them all type of niggas with the extra EGER at the end of it and beating them. And I don't know if you got to that part, but they accused these brothers of trying to sleep with white women. Like it said that the chief or the head of the police, he said they was there for narcotics, but that's not what they were saying to these brothers when they was beating the hell out of them and they was waterboarding them. They wasn't saying those things. They was threatening them. They was beating them. They were torturing them, just like the United States government did to those Afghan soldiers on that island called Guantanamo Bay. That's what, when that came out, that they was literally having these. It gets worse. This story gets worse. Keep going.
It says, Shabazz continued. In addition, Rankin County deputies, while these men were handcuffed for over 90 minutes, these deputies repeatedly pointed guns to the heads of both men and threatened to kill them.
And this is the power that your oppressor has over you. This is the power that the Lord has allowed for these people who Job called them a no people. So like he called them a base people. The Lord called them a no people, but because of our sins and our hard-headedness, the Lord allowed a people like this to be over us that you look at as crime fighters and people that uphold the law and serve and protect. Meanwhile, they look at you just like a nigga. And I said it before. I said that when it comes to the law enforcement, you have law enforcement. The culture of law enforcement comes from the paddy rollers, from the slave patrol. This is down in Mississippi. This is down there where things are slow, where the things are still happening. Brothers are still being hung. You got sundown towns. This is where this is happening at. And the culture of law enforcement has always been to terrorize black people, to terrorize black men, to murder black men, and under the cover of the law now. Go ahead.
Sir. Was pulled, intending to kill.
Wait, I need you to read that again. Read that again.
But at the end of it, while handcuffed, Michael Jenkins had a gun placed in his mouth by a Rankin County deputy, and the trigger was pulled.
So the way the story goes, they had already been putting the guns in these brothers' mouths and threatening to kill them. This time, the gun actually went off. Right, and I'm gonna pull up this story. You can drop that. I'm gonna pull up the story, this video, and also Malik Shabazz. That's the brother that used to be the head of the new Black Panther Party that Captain Tazariak destroyed in a lecture. You know what I mean? Let me see.
They were falsely accused officers of dating white women and some who were immediately subdued and handcuffed.
Now he said they said they accused him of dating white girls. He said that wasn't true. The cops said they came there for drugs, but what they said to them is like, you messing with white women? They got on them about that. This was something that black men would get killed over. This was something this is what Emmett Till got killed over. He wasn't dating a white woman, but he said something to a white woman. But this has happened throughout our history where black men have been killed trying to date outside their race, trying to date white women. And you know, the Caucasian men, law enforcement, they get wind of it and they will unalive you for it.
But instead of taking the handcuffed men into custody for the alleged crime, white cops decided they would hostage terrorize them for nearly 2 hours into home. While the men were handcuffed and bound, these 6 Rankin County white cops beat the men while they were handcuffed, repeated they were handcuffed, punched, slapped, and beat the men while they were handcuffed, and incredibly, the white officers used waterboarding tactics. Then, in the course of this torture and physical abuse and humiliation, Rankin County sheriffs were both putting guns to both men's heads, threatening to kill them while handcuffed.
Now, let me just say this. You imagine how many times that doesn't happen when nobody sees. And you know how black men are. You know how we are, where we don't stand down. We ain't going to let, a police officer punk us, push us around, not knowing that he's the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? And they do pull the trigger. You know how many stories there is where they say, oh, he was in a police car in the back and he shot himself. And they're like, well, how the hell, if he handcuffed, how he shoot himself in the head? There's so many stories where they say that we did it to ourselves when really they just murdered us, like they want to. Like they have a lust for blood and to kill something. You know what I mean? And you are the number one target.
Then tragedy struck when one of the sheriffs shot Michael Jenkins in the mouth. Yes, the cop shot Michael in his mouth, almost killing him, causing him life-threatening injuries, and Michael is in ICU and had to have his tongue removed from his mouth.
God damn.
Been covering this.
God damn. He didn't have to have his tongue removed from his mouth, right? Brother, if you could give me Ecclesiastes 7:7, man. This brother he done shot him in the mouth, and now he ain't got a tongue. Salaki, how can you even talk without a tongue? You can't. I don't think you can talk without a tongue. You can't, huh? You won't be able to pronounce them. Now this brother is maimed for life, man. All because of some stinking law enforcement, some Edomites, some Caucasians, racists, decided that they wanted to have fun. They said they did the waterboarding techniques, which this is what they were doing. I don't think it went all the way into it, but this is what they were doing in Guantanamo Bay. They were they poured the water on your head. They put you upside down. They pour water on your face, put a towel over your face, blindfold you, just pour water all in your nose and and make you gag and make you, get to that point where you feel like you're about to drown. Give me that, Ock.
Oh, God. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7 and verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
The Bible says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. This angers any black person that sees this, how our brothers get done. This angers you, how you saw that brother get the life squeeze out of him on that subway train. And I said, boy, I wish I was there. I would have gave him one warning to let the brother up, and then I would have just let loose. I would have did the Harlem two-step. You know what I'm saying? On you know what? I ain't gonna say that we're about violence, but when it comes to protecting your people and standing up for your people, you got to do something. I wouldn't have been one of those black people sitting in the subway just looking at him hold the brother for 10 minutes in a chokehold till he die. Oppression maketh a wise man mad. You're not wise if you're not upset at what you see what happened to your people on a daily basis. You're a dummy. You're a dum-dum. You're not wise. You're not thinking. It should upset you. I mean, when something happens to their people, they're upset, and guess what? They get their revenge. When something happens to people in America, they're upset and they go drop bombs on people. So why in the hell can't you be upset? The Lord said you could be upset. David said, don't forget. King David said, Salakia, we'll get that next. King David said, remember them. Remember these people. How evil they are. Remember them. We can't go out and hurt people and grab guns. We can't avenge ourselves on the oppressor, but the Lord can. If we turn to him, face the east as a nation, if we push as hard as we can to wake up more brothers and bring them into this fold, bring them into this truth, and the faster we do that, the faster we can get justice for all the crimes that they have committed and still commit till this day. Go ahead, Ak.
And a gift destroyeth the heart.
And a gift destroyeth the heart. And you get a little bit of money, you get a little bit of success, you get a little bit of what you want and your selfish desires in America, and you forget about the pain and the anguish of your brothers. You know, I just seen a TikTok where there was a sister talking about, she took care of herself. She had to take care of herself. She put herself through college. You know, she has a family, and she's not doing anything for her mom. She don't care if her mom got food in her refrigerator. She doesn't care if her mom, can pay her bills, because she feels as though her mom should be able to do those things on her own. And if she can't do it on her own, oh well. Like, we have become a selfish people. We have become a vain people in America. We have started to think like the oppressor. We have started to think as though, when your parents, when they get old, you just throw them into a convalescent home. You just get rid of them because you got to live your life. You got to live it up to the fullest. You got to enjoy your life. Meanwhile, the Bible don't say it. The Bible says to honor your mother and father. That don't mean you do that don't mean you do what they say, but it means that you look out for your parents when they can't help themselves anymore, because There was a time when you couldn't wash your behind. It was a time when you was a toddler, when you was a baby, and if nobody changed that funky, stinking diaper that you had on, you just sit there and cry. You know what I'm saying? So you was helpless at one time. It was a time when you needed help, and there will be a time. There was a time when you needed help when you was a child, and there will be a time when you need help as an adult. When your children. That's the beauty of having children. We done got into a society where we don't even. We feel like we are not supposed to have kids. We feel as though we want to just be, by ourselves forever and enjoy all the good things of life. Well, that's not why the Lord created us. He didn't create us to, have immense pleasure and go to all the best places in the world and eat the best food and then just live life to the fullest as a single person and have sex with everybody. That I forgot that part. Have sex with everybody as a single person. Then when you get old, nobody gives a damn or know who you are, where you at, and they'll find you sitting somewhere at a bus stop, passed away, because nobody really gave a damn about you, because you had no one, because you thought life was all about you. Salakia, that's it on it, right? I'm gonna play some more of this
saga from day one. We have more information now. Put up the picture full mass. I want to show you the damage this particular deputy did to Mr. Michael Jenkins. Mississippi sheriff deputies are already under investigation for possible civil rights violations after allegedly placing a gun in Michael Jenkins' mouth and firing it. These officers are now also accused of sexual abuse, sexually assaulting him and his friend, Eddie Terrell Parker, during the interrogation. The allegations are contained in a letter to the Justice Department written by Mr. Michael Corey Jenkins, attorney. who provided a copy to the AP. In it, attorney Malik Shabazz urges federal prosecutors to file civil rights charges against the deputies and to open a broader investigation into what he called the unconstitutional customs and practices of the entire sheriff's office. All right? There's more. Let's put them up. According to the attorney, he said in a statement that Sheriff Brian Bailey and Rankin County are covering up the truth of what happened on January 24th. And all parties must be held accountable.
Now, this is your crime fighter. This is the man that you look at to come and save the day. This is the man that you hope when you're getting robbed, he comes and gets the criminal. This is the man when your car gets broken in, you call him and he goes and he figures out who broke in your car. This is the man that Kens and Karens of the earth say, good job. I wish you lived in my neighborhood. Black back to blue. We need more police like you. This is him. The same one that will waterboard you, the same one that will put a gun to your son's head and threaten to kill him and torture them for almost 2 hours. This is the devil. You've seen the devil in the flesh. That's who he is.
He also penned a letter to Kristen Clark, the Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights Department of Justice, calling for an inquiry into pattern and practice of police brutality in Rankin County. Now let's keep it up. Madam, you've been doing a fine job at that department. I know you have bureaucracy to do things that are involved. But even with those restrictions, you've done some things with this office that others before you have not been able to do. I would like you to do more, but I understand once again, the bureaucracy that you're dealing with. This case that has come before you, madam, is a legitimate case, and it is a case worthy of significant investigation. The reason why the attorney is citing the terminology pattern and practice.
So I'm gonna just stop right there. They had these brothers get in the shower and get naked and try to make them do sexual acts to one another. This is the same thing that they did in Guantanamo Bay with the military, with the so-called terrorists. When they had Guantanamo Bay is an island where they have like terrorists, right? Locked up. People that you basically they can just pick you up. It ain't like you got rights like you in prison or anything. You ain't got no rights, no phone calls. It's no jurisdiction. It's like the CIA and FBI and the military. And what these cops was doing to these brothers is exactly what the United States government was doing to so-called terrorists when they was torturing them. They came out with the pictures. They had them doing sexual acts. They had them, doing all kind of weird things. Just weird. Esau is weird. He's a weirdo. They had them doing all kind of things. And you can just imagine what they were doing with the imagination that this devil has. But this is how they were treating. This is the same way they treated these two black men. Almost killed a brother. Shot him in the mouth. And now he doesn't even have a tongue. Your oppressor is the devil that the Bible speaks of. If you could give me Psalms 137. Psalms 137. 131 Psalms 137 and 7.
Oh God. The book of Psalms 137, chapter 137, verse 7.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, O Lord,
Mm-hmm.
the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it.
This is King David saying, he said, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom. He said, remember. He could, it's like with us, we can't go out and do things and avenge ourselves. But I sure wish for the day to where I can avenge myself. And I ask the Lord to remember these Edomites. Remember these Edomites from a personal perspective that he done did something to me. And I can't do nothing, but I'm like, Lord, remember him. I need him. on my plantation. I need him to know what he was dealing with in that day, in that great and terrible day when you return. Remember him for me. You know what I'm saying? Read it from the top.
Psalms 137 and verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof.
Now, what King David is talking about is the Edomites, your oppressor, the Germans, the Americans, the Australians, you know what I'm saying, the Europeans. These people, he asked for the Lord to remember them when they destroyed Jerusalem. When he said that when they raised it, meaning they destroyed it, they burnt it to the ground. They burnt the city to the ground. He said, remember these people. And we should never forget. They want us to forget. They got critical race theory. They got all these things like where we're in an education system where they change the books, they take the history out because they want us to forget what they've done to us. But thanks to Commander General YAHANNA, thanks to the Lord, I'm so thankful that as Black people, we have a sanctuary where we could come and learn our heritage and learn the true identity of Black and Hispanic people.
Right.
Because without that, man, we'll be lost in the sauce out here. Black people is lost out here. And without that truth, a lot of us that's in this truth right now would be dead and gone. We wouldn't be here. I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't be here. There's a lot of brothers and sisters that's here right now in this very moment that would not be here if it wasn't for changing their lives, getting away from the same people, the same environments they were in, getting away from the same things they used to do. You know what I mean? Changing the way, you know, they live and in the way they think, in the way they talk to people. These things really, really did change our lives. And if it wasn't for it, we wouldn't be here, or we'd be locked up somewhere. Right? Is there any more on that? I don't think so. Oh, it is. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
That's it. No sweat.
Oh, I know if you want me to read 8.
What does 8 say?
O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed.
O daughter of Babylon, who are to be destroyed. This is King David crying out to the Most High. Remember them. O daughter of Babylon. Daughter of Babylon is America today. Why is America the daughter of Babylon? Because America is basically a carbon copy of what Babylon did,
right,
bringing all nations under one umbrella, right, and under one religion. But you can still have your own belief system, just like in America. You can have your belief systems. You can believe in, you know, the trees are gods, but at the end of the day, you're still a Christian. Christianity is the you know, the umbrella. White Jesus is the umbrella. Most all religions today is Christianity, whether you're Muslim or whatever, right, because all these religions allow anybody to be a part of it. Right. That's Christianity. Real religions in ancient times, they were connected to the people, bloodline. You couldn't be part of this. You couldn't be, you know, a Buddhist if you wasn't Chinese. Now you can be a Buddhist. Right. Now you can be a Muslim. Now you can be whatever you want to be, because they all are Christianity now. Right. Meaning everyone is welcome. Right. So what I'm going to do is we're about to get into some history. We're going to go into the book of Genesis. I'm going to bring out some things about some historical facts about, you know, the beginnings, the early beginnings with Abraham coming out of the land of Mesopotamia and Babylon. So if you could, I'm going to pull up a slide. Let's get, let me see what I want. Let's get Genesis 10:1. Genesis 10:1.
Oh, God. The book of Genesis, chapter 10 and verse 1. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. And unto them were sons born after the flood.
Right. We know about the sons of Noah. Shem, Ham, and Japheth, right? And it goes into the then it goes into the genealogy, right?
Okay.
So I want you to skip down to verse 6.
Okay, verse 6. And the sons of Ham, Cush, and Mizraim, or
Mizraim, right?
and Put,
Mm-hmm.
and Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
And
So these are the nations that came out of Ham. Read it one more time.
Genesis 10 and 6. And the sons of Ham,
Cush, which is the Ethiopians,
and Mizraim.
Mizraim was Egypt, the Egyptians. Go ahead.
And Put.
Or Put. No, it's Put, but I'm trying to remember who they were and go ahead.
And Canaan.
And Canaanites. Today are South Africans. So
So like I did have a question when I saw the Canaan. So the Canaanite woman was different than those Canaanites.
No, the Canaanite woman where?
That came up to Christ. And he denied her. He was about to deny her. Remember, she cried that.
That was a Canaanite woman?
Yeah, they said it was a Canaanite woman, but I don't think it was a white woman.
I don't know if that she. I think she was like Syro-Phoenician or something like that. Go ahead and grab it. What's that in Matthew 15, 24?
And then it said, "Oh, woman of Canaan."
Yeah.
And behold, Matthew chapter 15 and verse 22. And behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coast,
right,
and cried unto him, saying, "Have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David."
Right. So this woman, she was a Canaanite. She was not Christ. Now, when it comes to the Israelites live right around the Canaanites. So a lot of times they, like Israelites are hard-headed. So we had Canaanite gods, just like we worship Egyptian gods also. So yeah, but right here on this particular scripture, if we keep reading, we'll see that Christ cut her by just saying, like, what I got is not for the dogs. So he called her nation of people a dog. Like, it was dogs plural with an S. So it's like not only her, but her nation of dogs. And she was so humble, she agreed with him. She called him son of David. And she said, well, even the dogs get to eat the crumbs from the master table. You know what I'm saying? Which blew Christ away, because he hadn't even seen, faith like that in Israel, in his people. Exodus 11 and 7 also, it refers to other nations as dogs. If you could grab Exodus 11 and 7.
The book of Exodus chapter 11 and verse 7. But against any of the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue. Meaning,
we're like, dogs don't speak. So the Bible saying, against the children of Israel shall not a dog move his tongue, right? So dogs don't speak, but people do, right? And these people are heathen nations, right? These dogs are like when we read with Christ in Matthew 15 and 24, where he told the woman, it is not meet to give the bread and give it to the dogs. I'm paraphrasing. So we see here it's the same thing in Exodus. Like, the heathen nations were considered dogs. They wasn't considered, on the level of Israelites, of God's chosen people. Go ahead.
Against man or beast.
That
ye may know how that the Lord doeth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel.
Said, don't raise your tongue. You dogs, don't raise your tongue against man or beast in Israel, so that men may know that the Lord put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel, between the Hamites in Israel. You got to understand, many times the Israelites were mistaken for being Egyptians. Egyptians, that particular group, for some reason, if Israelite will put on the clothing of an Egyptian, he would be mistaken for one of them, right? We look very similar to each other, but the Lord put a difference between Israel and those other nations. They were dark nations also. You know, like the Zondervan Bible says that all of Ham's sons were dark skinned, but the Negroes were different. The people that came out of Shem were different than the people that came out of Ham. But if I'm gonna just drop that and give me we're gonna get to the I don't want to waste too much time. So give me who is that? Was that Genesis 10? Genesis 10 and
Genesis 10. Who's going over?
Okay, verse 6.
And the sons of Ham, Cush and Mizraim and Put and Canaan.
Mm-hmm.
And the sons of Cush, Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Ramah, Sabteka, and the sons of Ramah, Sheba, and Dedan.
Mm-hmm.
And Cush begot Nimrod, and he began to be a mighty one on the earth.
So Cush begot Nimrod. Nimrod was a Hamite. He came out of Ham. That is his progeny. That is his bloodline, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to read this. The son of Cush, and therefore the great grandson of Noah, Nimrod was described as a king in the land of Shinar, Mesopotamia. Later, extra biblical traditions identified Nimrod as the ruler who commissioned the construction of the Tower of Babel, which led to his reputation as a king who was rebellious against the Most High. Nimrod has not been attested in any historic non-biblical registers. Records are kings lists, including those of Mesopotamia itself. So when it comes to Nimrod, people like other people, right? Other figures in the Bible, you can find outside the Bible evidence of them existing. When it came to Nimrod, they have not found anything, but they did find the cities that he founded with his name. You understand? So there have been figures in the history of Mesopotamia or ancient Samaria or Babylon where you have rulers that they can't figure out the names of these rulers or when did they reign or if in fact they are Nimrod, right? I'm going to keep reading. Historians have failed to match Nimrod definitively with any historically attested figure. That's what I just said. Although one recent suggestion is Nara-Sim, grandson of Sargon. Several ruins of the Middle East have been named after him, right? So Nimrod's name in the cities that he founded, many of them have been found by archaeologists. All right. And so where are we at right now? What verse are you on?
9. Sir.
You on verse 9? Keep reading.
Genesis 10 and 9. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Wherefore it is said, even as Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord.
Now, Nimrod was a mighty hunter before the Lord, meaning he subdued the world, his world, Mesopotamia, better known as Samaria, and then later on Akkad, right? But this area is also known as the Fertile Crescent, where the Tigris and Euphrates River flow through. And I'll show you a map when we get to of the Chaldees, right? This is Sargon of Akkad. This is the Sargon that they were just talking about when they said possibly he could be the grandson. Nimrod could be the grandson of Sargon of Akkad. Sargon of Akkad was the first ruler who united all Samaria. He reigned 56 years. And not to be confused with the Sargon of the Bible. That is Sargon II, who is in the Bible. All right. Now, another thing that I want to speak to is you can definitely look. Now, one thing I didn't say that's not here is that Sargon also, this man was one of the first Semitic speakers in that area. Now, when it comes to the area today, that area has been taken over by conquest throughout, the centuries, by the Arabs through the Islamic conquest. So the people today are a mixture of Edomites and Arabs or Ottoman Turks. So they look nothing like the people of antiquity. They look nothing like those people from ancient times. As you can see, you look at Sargon, they definitely, when they found this statue or this likeness of them, because they used to put different kind of jewels for the eyes. His eyes have been dug out, and they even tried to break the nose, which this looks like it was made out of bronze or some metal. Usually, likenesses are made out of stone, whereas you'll see a lot in ancient structures, they've knocked the noses off to hide the identity. And plenty of times you'll see where they just whitewash the frescoes, meaning the paintings, they whitewash them and they paint themselves into history. Now, Sargon, this is just historic. I'm not saying that these were, this was a Israelite or anything like that, but they were Semitic people, right? They did come out of that line of Shem. Where you at? Where verse you on?
Verse 10.
Go ahead, verse 10.
And the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, and Erech, and Akkad, and Calneh in the land of Shinar.
So these were the cities in the land of Shinar. So let me get this. 1 second. This is the map. If you look at the map and you're looking at the Salakia, I don't know if I wanted that one. This is the one I want. The land of Shinar, or the plain of Shinar. Now you're looking at that green part where it's green at, you're looking at the Fertile Crescent. If you look down to the bottom where it has the Persian Gulf, not the Red Sea, but the Persian Gulf, you'll see you have you have Sumer, you have Babylon, you have the Tigris River, the Euphrates River. But this land, this plain, was a very fertile area, right? A very fertile area. Keep reading.
Verse 11, out of the land went forth ashore and builded Nineveh and the city of
Nineveh
and the city of Rehoboth.
That's the biblical Nineveh also that it's talking about, meaning this is where these people came out of this line, and then these became cities. Go ahead.
And the city of Rehoboth and Calah.
Mm-hmm.
And we're saying between Nineveh and Calah, the same as a great city. And
right. So like, what verse are you on?
12.
Or you can drop it right there.
Oh, okay.
You can drop it right there. Now let's get verse 11. I'm Salaki. Give me Genesis chapter 11, verse 1, and just hold it. Now I'm going to read this. This is the country of two rivers, the plain of Shinar, the ancient name of the great alluvian tract through which the Tigris and Euphrates passed before reaching the sea. The tract known in later times as Chaldea or Babylonia. It was a plain country where brick had to be used for stone and slime for mortar. Sumer is often identified as the biblical Shinar. Sumer eventually was taken over by the Akkadians and evolved into Babylon, right? So if you could get Genesis 11 and 1.
The book of Genesis, chapter 11 and verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. Verse 2, and it came to pass as they journeyed from the east that they found a plain in the land of Shinar.
Right.
And they dwelt there.
What verse are you on?
Verse 2, 3 now.
Mm-hmm.
And they said one to another, go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone and slime had they for mortar.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, go to, let us build us a city and tower whose top may reach unto heaven, and let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth.
So the people came together, and they had the the ability to build, and they said, "Let us make us a name." You got to understand that they said, "Let us make us a name." Like, they wanted fame, and they had a certain kind of pride about them, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. Go ahead, read it. Go ahead.
Oh God. Verse 5. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower, which the children of men builded. And
Right.
the Lord,
You can hold it. Yeah, hold it for now. Go ahead.
oh God. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language.
Right. At this time, the people were one. It was one language. Go ahead.
And this they began to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
To do.
Oh, Salaki. Do. And this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
Mm-hmm.
Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language, that they might not understand one another's speech.
Mm-hmm.
So the Lord scattered them abroad from thence upon the face of all the earth, and they left off to build the city.
So the Lord went down. He seen what they was doing, and he came down, and they confused the languages. And so everybody had their own language, and no one could understand each other anymore. And so they stopped from trying to build a city that would reach heaven. What they was trying to do was build a building that would be in between heaven and earth. I mean, it would reach the heavens. Go ahead. Verse 9.
God. Therefore it is the name of Therefore is the name of it called Babel, because the Lord did there confound the language of all the earth.
So it's called Babel because the Lord confounded the language. Go ahead.
And from this did the Lord scatter them abroad upon the face of all the earth.
So they were scattered upon the face of the earth. Everybody, and instead of everybody after the flood scattering, what they did is they came together and they wanted to build a tower, right? And we're going to get more detail. We're going to get another perspective. I'm going to go to Josephus. Now, Josephus was an Israelite historian in the first century. I think he lived about 100 years after the death of Christ. And we're going to get his take on what actually happened also. So I'm going to read. Salaki, let me get the book. I got the book right here. Bear with me. So where we at? So now it was Nimrod who excited them to such an affront and contempt of the Most High. He was the grandson of Ham, the son of Noah, a bold man and a great strength of hand. He persuaded them not to ascribe it to the Most High, as if it was through his means they were happy, but to believe that it was their own courage which procured that happiness. So Nimrod, he basically was the one that pushed the people to do it, and he wanted them to realize not to give, the credit to the Most High, but that they did it themselves. All right. He also gradually changed the government into tyranny, seeing no other way of turning men from the fear of the Most High, but to bring them into a constant dependence upon his power. That's what happens today in America. America turns you away from the fear of the Most High and makes you depend on them, makes you feel as though It's in you. The power is in your hand to get rich. The power is in your, your destiny is in your own hand. And you have no fear of the Most High in America. You fear your oppressor, you fear your boss, but you don't fear the Most High. This is exactly what Nimrod did. He brought tyranny. And that's what you see in the streets of America. That's what you see every time you see a Facebook Live of an officer killing somebody, or if a regular plain clothes Ken and Karen, hurting black and brown people and not getting punished for it. And then you depend on the thing that you fear the most instead of depending on the Most High and fearing the Most High. This is what Nimrod did. Let me see where I'm at. It says, he also said he would be revenged on the Most High if he should have a mind to drown the world again. So Nimrod was like, I'm going to be revenged on the Most High. It's not going to happen again. It's not going to, if the earth get flooded again, I won't be one of the people dying. I'm going to keep reading. For that he would build a tower too high for the waters to be able to reach, and that he would avenge himself on the Most High for destroying their forefathers. Now the multitude were very ready to follow the determination of Nimrod and to esteem it a piece of cowardice to submit to the Most High. So they looked at it like it would be a cowardness to submit to the Most High. And they built a tower, neither sparing any pains nor being in any degree negligent about the work. And by reason of the multitude of hands employed in it, it grew very high, sooner than anyone could expect. But the thickness of it was so great that it was so strongly built that thereby its great height seemed upon the view to be less than it really was. It was built of burnt brick, cemented together with mortar, made of bitumen, that it might not be liable to admit water. So they made it with bitumen, which is like a natural asphalt that like pitch that they put on roofs to make it waterproof, or like asphalt, right? So they wanted to make it waterproof. When the Most High saw that they acted so madly, he did not resolve to destroy them utterly, since they were not growing wiser by the destruction of their former sinners. But he caused a tumult among them by producing in them diverse languages. That's diverse languages is confusion of tongues, right? Let me see where I'm at. And causing that through the multitude of those languages, they should not be able to understand one another. The place wherein they built the tower is now called Babylon, because of the confusion of that language which they readily understood before. For the Hebrews mean by the word Babel, confusion. You understand? And so that is what happened at the Tower of Babel. That gives you more of a perspective of what we just read in the Bible about them coming together, being one language, and the Lord coming down and looking and seeing what they were doing and confusing their languages. If you could give me what do I want? What verse are we on? What verse were you on? On 9?
We were on. No, we was on 1.
Okay, if you could.
No. It's like it. Yeah, we was in 11 now. We were on. I want to say 9. Yeah, 9, 10 now.
Now, if you could skip down to 27.
Oh God. Genesis 11, chapter 11, verse 27. Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begot Lot.
Now these are the generations. This is Abraham's father. Terah is Abraham's father, who begot him, his brother Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begot his son Lot, who you know as, from Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
Go ahead.
And Haran died before his father, Terah. And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity.
So Haran, Abraham's brother, he died before their father passed away, right? In the city of their nativity, which is of the Chaldees. Go ahead.
Okay. And Abram and Nahor took them wives. The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, the daughter of Haran.
Keep reading.
The father of Milcah and the father of I.S.U.P.K.
Where you at the end?
30, verse 30.
Keep going.
But Sarai was barren; she had no child.
Right.
And
Keep
Sarai took Abram his son, and Lot, the son of Haran, his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son's Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan. And they,
So go ahead. Salaki, I don't mean to stop you.
And they came into Haran and dwelt there.
So Terah, Abraham's father, he took his son Abraham, the nephew, his grandson, but Abraham's nephew, and Sarah or Sarai at the time, and they left of the Chaldees to go to the land of Canaan. Canaan was inhabited by the Canaanites, which later the Israelites would take it, and it would be the land of Israel, right? But they came to the land of Haran, which was still in the country of Samaria or the Chaldees. Verse 32.
Oh God, and the days of Terah were 205 years, and Terah died in Haran.
Now let's go to Genesis 12:1. Let's start at the next chapter.
Genesis chapter 12, verse 1. Now the Lord had said unto Abram, get thee out of the country.
Right.
And from thy kindred and from the father's house unto a land that I will show thee.
Right. So now at this time, Abraham was staying in Haran, right? And he stayed there for a while. And when his father died, that's when they left from that whole country, from that whole area of, let me give you this, the plain of Shinar, right? This whole plain where it's green at, to go down to the area of Jerusalem, or at the time, Canaan. Keep reading.
Oh God. And I will make thee a great nation. And I will bless thee and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. Verse 3. And I will bless thee, and I will bless them that bless thee.
Let me know when you're done with verse 3.
Oh God. And curse him that curseth thee, and in thee shall all families of the earth be blessed.
So the Lord said he would enlarge Abraham, his seeds, his descendants, and whoever blessed them, he would bless, and whoever cursed them, he would curse those people. Right now, we're going to get into some archaeology, because he came out of the Chaldees, right? And I'm going to rewind a little bit and just show you what some of the people look like at this time period, or before the time of Abraham, in the same land. All right, so let me pull some stuff up. These were the Sumerians, right? And the Sumerians, what they called themselves, they referred to their land as Kinger, the country of the noble lords. The people of Sumer referred to themselves as black-headed ones, or black-headed people. Now, when you look at artifacts, of course, the artifacts are whitewashed. You will find noses broke off. I don't even know. These are in the museum. I don't even know how the artifact to the far left with the afro, I don't even know how it was able to survive without getting destroyed. But this is how they saw themselves. when you look at archaeology and sculptures, what the oppressor likes to say in their, in their devilishness, what they like to say is that, oh, this was art. And so what they do is they destroy something, they take the paint off of the paintings, and they say, this is the way, this is the form of art. This is classical. This is this is that. No, this is how these people actually saw themselves. When you see sculptors, these people were very fine artists and craftsmen, and they were able to produce things that were real, like a lot of times different cultures, especially where Shemitic people were at. And you're seeing people how they seen themselves, but the oppressor likes to explain away what you are really seeing. It's like, nigga, my eyes don't see what I'm seeing. I think I know that these were black people, but you're telling me they are not, because of the people that stay there today, that migrated there, that got there through conquest and all of that, right? I'm gonna move on. This is some more. These are what the ancient Sumerians look like, right? Some more examples. The artifact at the far top, at the top corner, you can see where they just completely knocked the man's nose off. His nose must have been wide as hell, because they did not want his nose to be seen, right? They knocked it off. And when you see stone like this, it's painted. The ancient people painted all their stones. So when you see it like this and it's just naked, no color, that means that when the archaeologists got there, they use certain type of what is it, like something like acetone, to take the paint off, because it's easier to explain away the existence of black people when you're just seeing bare stone. But there's so many artifacts and so many different nations that represented themselves in sculpture that they couldn't get to everything, right? This is another one. Now, this was said to be a king in ancient Sumer. They can't decide who he was. Some people think that this was actually Sargon. Some people say it was someone else, right? They don't really know, and it really doesn't matter. The point of it is to just show what the people look like in that region. And you've seen, like, when we read it out the Bible, Nimrod, he came out of Cush. He came out of Ham. Right. So you had Hamitic people in Mesopotamia and Shemitic people in Mesopotamia. Okay. And so when we get to where Abraham came from, let me just get to that real quick. So like it. So Abraham came from the Chaldees. Now, I might not, let me see. This might be the wrong one. I want the one. So the Chaldees was discovered in 1862 and later excavated in 1927 under the red slopes of Tel al-Makwiyar. Tel al-Makwiyar. A tel is usually, the Arabs would call a tel a mound that was covering something. So they looked at mounds and they called them tel. So the reason why you see tel a lot when it comes to archaeology is because certain areas, certain artifacts like buildings and things were once under mounds, and they had to be excavated and dug out carefully, right? So the Chaldees is a biblical city that was actually found. Now, this is for the people that say that the Bible ain't real. There's plenty of examples, and over time, I'm going to bring out all kind of things of archaeology and about places that are in the Bible. And what you got to understand is that before they started to discover these places in Mesopotamia, ancient Babylon, the only thing they had of record was the Bible for ancient Babylon, for places like the Chaldees. The only thing they had to go on was the Bible until they actually found it, and it validated what the Bible had been saying all along, right? And so this area is somewhere where the first civilization had started. Cuneiform writing. This is a ziggurat. What you're looking at is a ziggurat. A ziggurat is a step pyramid. This pyramid is said to be the oldest structure on Earth, older than the pyramids in Egypt, right? They have the oldest writing system. Cuneiform is the earliest known writing system. Cuneiform was originally developed to write the Sumerian language. It is named for the characteristic wedge-shaped impressions from its signs. Did you know that Chief Joseph, there was a Chief Joseph, I forgot the Nez Perce Indians, Native American Indians. He had a cuneiform tablet in his possession. When the white man asked him how did he get it, he said it had been passed down generations in his family. When they deciphered what it was a receipt for a sale of a lamb 2,800 years ago. It had been passed down. How did a Native American Indian get something that came from ancient Babylon? Well, if you know the Bible and you know what happened to the Northern Kingdom when they went into captivity, you would understand why he would have that in his family, right? Where we at? Salakia, here we go. Now, this is the house. This is what the house would be. It says the citizens of were living in large two-storied villas with 13 or 14 rooms. The lower floors was solidly built of burnt brick. The upper floor and mud brick. Out of mud brick. The walls were neatly coated with plaster and whitewashed. And also, when they excavated if you look at the top right, that is showing you a picture of bitumen inside the brick. That black stuff in the brick, that's asphalt. It's natural asphalt that they would put. That's how they would make their bricks, basically to make the buildings waterproof, right? Now, when they excavated this city, they excavated a building, and the building, they were able to light up the stove and light it up again. And so what you see is that this was a very sophisticated civilization. So Abraham came out of a place that was a bustling place, and it wasn't just like some tent city. You understand? It was a city with streets, with two-story buildings, with different type of things going on like a civilization would have. And it's not as far-fetched. You know what I'm saying? Like the Bible tells you there's nothing new under the sun. And there really isn't nothing new under the sun. Here's another image of what a house would look like in the structure, right? Opened up. They would have plaster on the walls. The walls would be white. The homes were actually, very sizable. They were big. – 13 to 14 rooms, right? Yeah, that's a mansion. I would love to listen. The way things is right now, how tight things is, I would love to live like that. But that's a mansion. Like you said, that is a mansion. 13, 14 rooms, 2 stories, courtyard, inner chamber, a laboratory, guest rooms for, like, they actually was really living a life 4,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? But this is just to give you a glimpse into the world of Abraham, who is the patriarch of Salakia, Isaac and Jacob. Out of Jacob came the 12 tribes of Israel, right? So this is a glimpse into what life was like back then. What did the people look like? What was the geography like? You know, these are sometimes we had these questions, and like, let's be real. When it comes to, so like, let me look at the comments. When it comes to when it comes to like, how would that help you today? I mean, it's not going to get a black person off drugs. But if you're already keeping the law, statute, commandments, or you have questions and you just want to know, I mean, it's something. It's nice to know. You know what I'm saying? It's something that can broaden your horizons, and it's something, you know, good to know and have a better understanding of the Bible, and you know how things started and what were these people like and where did we come from. You understand? So I'm gonna end the class right here. You know what I mean? I ain't got too much more. I put that class together. Let me know what you thought about it, and I can do some more, you know, historical classes like this, slideshows, um, and next we could go into Egypt. We can go into Sodom and Gomorrah. We can go into Egypt. We can go into the Moabites. What did they look like in ancient times? What were they like? What was their kingdom like? We can go into a lot of different kingdoms and just get some visuals and get a better understanding of what it was like in the biblical era in times that's past. So with that, I'm Priest and Officer at the Wagga Bar. The brother Ramak here rocking it out with me. We're about to sign out. Hey, Shalom, Israel. Let's clap it up.